Hi everyone. So today's video is going to be an iPad production video, but this is going to be me actually stepping through how to use this in a real world situation. A friend of mine has sent me a track where he needs a bass recording, so I'm going to do it entirely on the iPad, no computers involved, and I'm going to record it live on camera and fire it back to him. Okay, so to record a bass you need, step one, a bass. In my case that's my Active Electronics jazz bass. I'm just going to set everything neutral to begin with and go from there. So you also need your iPad, in my case the iPad Pro. I'm using the USB 3 camera adapter. If you've seen that in any of the other videos that I've done, that means that I can connect the white cable, which is the power cable, so I can leave the iPad plugged in, it's not going to lose any charge, and also I can plug in an interface, and what I'm using is the Apogee Jam. Now the Apogee Jam has one input, and that's for a guitar or a bass, and that's all it does. If you want to hear what's going on, you plug in to the headphone jack. Now in this case, instead of using headphones, I've plugged out to the studio computer just so that I can record it so that you guys can hear it in full stereo. So the studio computer behind me is not being used at all, apart from to just capture the audio. It's just a glorified 2-track recorder in this case. So I've made a new composition in Aria, or new project, and nothing is going on. So first thing to do is, my friend Ricky has sent me this track in an email, so I've just got to search for the email. There we go. So Ricky has sent me a file via Dropbox, so I'm going to view the file. It's going to bring it up in Dropbox. View the file in the app. Now this is going to start playing, but what I can do is I can hit the share button at the top. Opening. So this is getting exported from Dropbox. I've never heard this track before, by the way, so I can export this. Copy to Aria Pro. I'm just going to go back to Dropbox. I don't want that to play in Dropbox. So if I go to menu, new project, the song was called Get You Off, so I'm just going to call this Get You. No template. Sample rate for this, I think he sent me a 44.1k track. Tracks 2 to begin with, because one's going to have the track on, one's going to have the bass on. So I'll hit save. Now the track isn't here, so what I have to do, I have to select a track and go to menu, import file, and the song Get You Off My Mind has appeared inside Aria in the menu. So I just put that in channel 1, may as well, number 1 for the track. So it's going to turn that from an MP3 into a WAV file, put it in the relevant place, and there it is. So if I hit play on that, there we go. So it's not the loudest file we've ever heard, but that's fine. So let's stop that and go back to the track view. So if I hit record on track 2, it's coming in input 1 because there's only one input. Not entirely sure why. There we go. So I can see that's coming in a little too hot. So if I just take the gain down a little, yep, so I'm in active mode. Let's get a little more bass, a little more treble, because it's a punk rocky kind of sound. Get a bit more scoop out of that. Bit more. Use the bright switch on my bass. Okay, so I have a sound. Now, if I go back to the start of this track, let's get tracking. So I'll just put the position right at the start. Now let's just listen through once, because like I said, I've not heard this track before. Okay, so it looks like we're in A, and I'm not in tune. So what I need to do is bring a tuner up. So two birds with one stone. I'm going to bring up bias effects. I'm not entirely sure why this has appeared twice in the menu. I think they're different communication protocols. Let's hope I've picked the right one. Oh, that's inappropriate. Let's just go for, I don't know. Let's change the amp out for a bass amp. Oh. So I don't need the drive or the fuzz or the reverb. Okay, so we've got a California style bass going. So let's just make sure I'm in tune by using the good old inbuilt tuner for bias effects. Now what I'm doing here is the engineer and the drummer Paul wanted me to send over the complete raw DI bass tracks so that they can mix them as they want. I like to hear an amp sound, but what Aria does is, let's go back to Aria. If I remember rightly, is Aria records the original sound and runs it through an effects chain, which means you can turn it on and off after the fact, which is great. GarageBand doesn't do that. GarageBand commits you to the sound that you have and records that, which can also be useful because it means you don't have to recall the settings later, but there's an option to freeze a track in Aria to achieve the same effect. And I'd much rather do it that way because being an audio kind of pro, I need the choice. Sometimes I'll change my mind and go, the performance is great, but I need the raw to reamp, or I'll need to say send the raw out, but hey, so let's just skip this back to the start. Just gonna get a bit more level on the original track. So I need more level yet. Okay, so if we go right back to the start, now I know what the main riffs are. I hit record, then play. It's a bit of an old school way of doing it, but it seems to work. Right. Let's leave it until the drum fill and then come in old school style. So there were some mistakes in there as I was working it out. I'm guessing this is recorded in stereo because of the way it's routing through bias, and bias needs a stereo input. So I can sort that out later. Right, I'm going to try this the other way. So 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. There we go. And a third time, change for the fourth, and back again. Two. 3 and 4 down to the root. Right, and that's where it changes. So as soon as I hit stop, let's drag this, find the original and just delete that. Make sure there's no... Ooh, there's a little bit of capacitance noise when I touch the screen. Interesting. Right, so that's 2 times around 3, 4. Right, so this must be the chorus. So it's 4 times around that opening lick, then a hold on the A. 2, 3, 4. Looks like the same kind of riff again, so... So it's... Did I... Probably messed up there a little. Yeah. Okay, so that's... So I actually didn't play the right bit. And back to the chorus riff there. 1, 2, 3, 4. so this is a new section. It looks like a new section to end the song. So. So it's 4, 5, 1. Okay, so it's 2, 3, 4. So it's that. Oh, no, it's just. Right, let's try that. Okay, I think that'll do. So the next step is I need to edit these crossover points. So I just need to make sure that all the silences are not in there. So if you noticed, I was playing over each bar. That one. Just as I say, I'm playing over each bar. Let's zoom in and make sure that cut point is right, so there's no silence. Yep. So that's... Oh. What did I do? So if I get the cut right on there. And keep going. Right, so... Make sure these cuts are all covered. Is that all of them? That is all of them. Right, so all I have to do now is get this out as a WAV file. So if I go back into the mixer, turn off bias effects, turn off the track, we should hear the original DI track. So if I go to menu, mix down, so get you bass, 24-bit wave, entire song in mono, and export to Dropbox. And that's going to put that in my Dropbox, and then I can just send a link straight to Ricky, because this should start at the 0 cross point of the same song he sent me, and if he set his locators right in the DAW that he's using, then that should be it. That should be perfectly in sync. If it's not, we may have to devise a sort of system with pips or some sort of matching just to get the first transient locked in which case the rest of it should be in sync. And right there, you've seen me in real time take a track I've never heard, play the bass for it, get it sent back to the musician in, what, 30 minutes-ish? Let's have a look at how long it take. 20 minutes, hey, new record. There were a couple of bits in there that I could probably do better, and I may well go back after this video and fine-tune this. It should take a bit longer than this. I was kind of breezing through to prove a point and not keep you all waiting. But this is how you do it. I mean, you do exactly the same with a guitar part. So with bias effects or whatever process you're using going full distortion, at the end you can then just turn off bias effects, keep the DI, and then send the DI to whatever person you need. And that is one way of working remotely as a session musician without even having a PC to hand. There you go. I'm Adam Steele for the Hot Pole Studios. If you want to talk to me about working like this with a band that want to come into a studio, I do offer remote reamping and mixing services. We're going to be doing more videos on that kind of thing soon, and how a recording studio is still useful in this day and age, even with remote recording, because even though you can do this at home, who's going to mix it? So there's a question. If you want it to sound like a real guitar amp or a real bass amp, who's got those and the room to do it in? That could be me. So let me know in the comments, send me a message, and I look forward to hearing from you all. I'm Adam Steele for the Hot Pole Studios. Thanks for watching.